Confidentially, I like to talk confidentially with a girl like you. Confidentially, I'll tell you this, I wouldn't if it wasn't so, but now...
She was only 40 odd or 50, 40 odd when she died in 1931.
Huh.
She looks 80, doesn't she?
So do you remember them?
Oh, I remember Grandad Dauber. He used to come and live with us. In loving memory of Mother and Father who died October 7th in her 48th year.
Oh, wow.
That were my auntie Gladys that had sent that. Yeah, my granddad lived with us when I lived at home at Park Road. You know the White Lion?
Yeah.
Some little terrace houses before it, and I was born round the back of there. I was born at home. You can imagine a little cottage like that, just one room, and one room upstairs I think is probably split into two, and there were 6 of us.
Wow.
Can't imagine it, can you? That's my mum and Auntie Molly, her sister. Auntie Molly died so early. She had cancer. Before we were married, she died. 1951, 52 she died. Well, that's my mum now. She wouldn't be very old, would she? Didn't they? I mean, their hair. The people are having their hair like that now these days, aren't they? You know, pull back and then a lot at the back. Don't I look grumpy?
How old are you there?
I should say 2 or 3, would you? But I can remember going to school first time, and I was only 3. I can remember my mum taking me down to the Nordin school where these went. And then we moved down to Nordin, on Edenfield Road near the Blue Ball, next door but one to the Blue Ball. And then in, I don't know what year it was, we moved further along the Blue Ball, up those steps, 573 Edenfield Road. That's outside the Blue Ball. It's me and Clara. That's not a good one. That's Mum and Dad, Grandad, and Clara and myself at Fleetwood.
Did you used to go on holiday there?
Every year. We used to go in what they called apartments. You had your bed and bedroom and that, and you bought your own stuff in and took it to the landlady, and she cooked it for you. So all you had to do was buy it. My mum made all our clothes, you know. John Woodhead that lived up Lane End, near White Lion, that took the photograph. 31, 29, 27 and 25. That were the years we were all born. And that's Mum and Dad and our Jim when he was in the Navy. And that's at the back of our house at Blue Ball Row. 1949, and we were offered a house down Hamer at Park Road, which had a bathroom, and that was the first bathroom we'd had. I was 17, so it was grand.
Yeah.
And I was there till I got married in 53. That's Mum and Dad and Grandad at Park Road. That's his father. Mum's parents died before that. We still went to work up at Cudworth, up Nordin. I left school at Christmas when I was 14 and started working in January at Cudworth's weaving shed. And taught by my Auntie Clarice. And then you get looms of your own. I had 2. And then the increase as you get more fit, and then up to six looms. In 1949, went to Blackpool for holiday, Whitsun weekend with my mum and dad and my sister and her friend, and of course went dancing in the Tower Ballroom and met this chap, this Raff, Derek Johns from Wales, and well I was 17 when I saw he was 19. And we danced all night, and then he said, "Will you be in on Sunday? Will you be in on Saturday?" I said, "Yeah, I can be." So I went in and he came and touched me on my shoulder. And we danced all night then. Then on the Sunday night, Reginald Dixon gave a recital, you know, music all night. So we went again then. 1 and 9 it was to go in. And he had to sell a pair of shoes to go. He sold a pair of brogues for 10 shillings. Never told his mother, he told them he'd been stolen. He had to sell them so that he could come to Blackpool to meet me. So then that was on the Sunday. On the Monday we came home and we started to write. Well, he said he was called Derek Johns, and then when he gave me his address, it was F.A. Johns. I thought he was having me on anyway, that was his proper name. So we started writing then to Murder with Love and Best Wishes, Derek. That was the first one I got from him. He'd been deferred for 12 months. When they went up at 18, didn't they? But with working at auto mechanic, Western Welsh bus shed, they deferred him for 12 months. But then he wanted to go and get his 2-year service done with. Then he were at Blackpool, but soon after they moved him down south. And he came up to Rochdale in September. Came and stayed in Manchester to start with at the YMCA. Right. And then he came over to... I went to Manchester to meet him in Stevenson Square. And we came back to Rochdale. And my dad says he's not going back to stopping there anyway. He's stopping here tonight now for as long as he's here. So he stayed at our house. And we had a piano, of course, and we had sing-songs, you know, and he knew all the hymns in the hymn book. And he used to rhyme them off, and my dad says, if he knows all the hymns in the hymn book, he'll do for me. So that was it for 4 years. And he came up, I don't know how much in between, but at the latter end, it were every fortnight he were coming up. He used to come up on a wagon, British Road Services wagon. So far to Manchester, and then catch the first bus from Manchester. And I used to get up in the morning and make him light the fire and make his breakfast. That's me and Derek. Gone for a walk over at Moors with Mairead and Eddie. Aww. We're necking. That's me and Mairead, Irish girl. She come over here when she was 17, and she come working next to me. We've been friends ever since. We were married on May 16th, May 16th, 1953, up at Redlam Chapel, where nobody had been married before. Really? They never had a licence. My dad and mum went to that chapel and they suggested we got married there. So they got hassocks for us to kneel on, and yeah, we were first to be married there. That's one outside the chapel, with Godfrey on, and I think you can see Stephen poking his nose underneath somewhere. That's my mum, my Auntie Clarice, my Auntie Alice and my Aunt Mary at our wedding. We looked like they were at a funeral with all dark clothes they had. But they were sat outside Redlam. Used to go to a place in Rochdale to have your photographs taken then. They didn't take them at the church and that, you know. What an upset, isn't it? Getting all in cars again and going down, you know. And then come back to the church where a village caterers, bakers had laid the tea on. And then a bit of dancing at night. I can't imagine what it was like, but and then we went home. And then on the Sunday, my brother and his wife, they were living in Blackpool, so they took us to Blackpool for a week then. We went for a week's honeymoon then. That's us on our honeymoon. He looks like he's been sat in windwillow in his hair, doesn't he?
Yeah, a lot of hair, didn't he?
Yeah, he has a good head of hair. Dunstravenue. Came back to Dunstravenue, and Derek had got a job at Rochdale bus station, bus service. So he started his work then, and I started. But then left in 55 when Alison was born. That's at Newquay. Year after we were married, we went away with a couple, an older couple from up north. In Derek had taught him to drive, and they were going to Newquay for the first week and Sidmouth for the second week, and they said they could go with them. Well, we did go with them, but left them halfway through because we were fed up of their ways. We went to Exeter Station one morning, this particular morning, and went on the train to Pontypool then, and got off at your nana's. That's Derek and myself down at Pontypool, outside his mother's house. And went and stayed there. And it were then when I just found out I was pregnant with Alison. So I told Nana, and she said, oh no, Derek told Anna. And she said to him, oh, you're getting cheeky talking like that, you know, the fact that it was going to be that. They weren't quite narrow-minded. They didn't talk like that. I'm pregnant. Oh, we're going to have a baby. And, you know, I don't know what the reaction was. We got this house in Nordin, down Clapgate Road, before Alison was born. Yeah. 7 shillings a week it was, I think. Rent.
35p.
7 or 8 shillings a week, yeah. It was like a palace. It was such a thrill to us to have this house of our own, you know, even though it was a back-to-back with no back door. We had to go down to the next street to go to the toilet. But it was wonderful.
Confidentially, I like to talk confidentially with a girl like you. Confidentially, I'll tell you this, I wouldn't if it wasn't so, but now I think you ought to know, but keep it dark, because you'll see that it's very confidentially. I really shouldn't tell you, but there's something in your smile that makes me want to linger when I ought to run a mile. And now I'm going to say it if you'll listen just a while. Confidentially, because it's true. Don't tell a soul I love you. Confidentially, I like to talk confidentially with folks like you. Confidentially, I'll tell you this, it happened just a month ago. I can't say where, but this I know, I saw a film.
Right, have I said enough? Don't play it back to me, will you, for goodness sake.